Hello everybody, it's Rebecca here at Why Mermaids, and it's time for my January wrap-up. I read a total of 11 things in the month of January, which is just insane for me. I'm so happy and proud, and like, that's pretty awesome. I haven't read that much in a month since, I think, like, August or something of last year. So this was a really great reading month. I do attribute it to the fact that I was home for a week, snowed in with Blizzard Jonas, so I did read like 3 or 4 things over that week, so that helped a lot. I read 5 books this month, 2 audiobooks, 2 graphic novels, and 2 manga. It's a pretty diverse selection of what I read, which is pretty cool. I had 2 2-star reads, 2 3-star reads, 4 4-star reads, 2 4.5-star reads, and 1 5-star. I had an overall star rating of 3.64 stars, so not too bad of a reading month, really. I had some highs and some lows, so it was pretty good. It was pretty diverse, pretty well mixed. And yeah, so let's get into what I actually read. And I'm gonna do it this time, I think, by the star ratings, rather than the order that I read them, because I started them and overlapped a lot of reading them, and so I think it just makes it easier if I do it this way. So we're gonna start out with one of the last books that I read this month, and that is You by Caroline Kepnes. I gave this 2 stars. It's why it's first, because we're starting with the 2 stars, and I just was not a fan. I just did not. I loved the idea and the narrative style, but I just really hated it as I read it. And so it got 2 stars because I respected the writing, but I couldn't stand the rest of it. And I am actually gonna have a full review of this book coming up. I think on sometime this week it should be up, so keep a lookout for that, because you'll get more of my thoughts about why I gave this one a 2-star rating in that video. So I don't want to say too much now to spoil you for that video. So yeah, keep on the lookout for my review of You. And my other 2-star read was Rat Queens Volume 2. I got this from the library and I already turned it back in, so I don't have it to show you, but there's a thing here, so whatever. And I read the first one, the first edition last year. It was my very first ever graphic novel, so I was excited about picking up Volume 2, and I don't know what it was, if I just wasn't in the mood for Rat Queens, or if or for a graphic novel, I don't know. It lost a lot of the spunkiness from the first one. I found this one kind of tiresome. I didn't laugh a single time, and as much as I liked the backstory of the characters, I just didn't care. So it was a 2-star. For my 3-star reads, both of these were audiobooks. The first one was Funny Girl by Nick Hornby, and this one, it is not the Funny Girl with Barbra Streisand, the musical and the movie. That's not it. I thought that might be what it was when I picked it up, and then it's not. But it is similar. It's got similar ideas. It's about a girl in England in the 60s who basically, she wants to become an actress, and she gets a spot on a TV show, and they kind of build the TV show around her, and it's more of a character-driven ensemble piece more than like something with a plot. It kind of just follows these main characters over the course of the show and then sometime in the future, and so it's a commentary on television of today and of the 60s, and it was just a really cute story. I liked the narrator a lot. She's a cute little British woman, and it really got me into the zone of it. She did the accents really well, because I mean, what do I know what a Blackpool accent sounds like? Well, now I do. So I enjoyed that, but it wasn't like the greatest read ever, but it was enjoyable for my commute to work, so I gave it 3 stars. The other 3-star read, the other audiobook I listened to, was Not That Kind of Girl by Lena Dunham, and I do own a copy. I own the physical copy. I bought it when it first came out because I like Lena Dunham. Lena Dunham is she's an inspiration to me because she's like the same age as me and has done so much with her life, and so I respect that about her, and I like the show Girls, so I wanted to pick up her book, and when I wanted to read an audiobook, I was like, oh, she reads it, let me do that. I like to listen to audiobooks if they're narrated by the author. I think it just adds an extra element to it. So again, I gave this 3 stars. It wasn't my favorite. It wasn't like life-changing. I did enjoy her anecdotes about life and love and sex and friends and all those other things, that it's what it's like to be a woman in your 20s right now. And yes, she's privileged, but she's still relatable, and so I really enjoyed that. I did not enjoy some of the, like, she did there's an entire section where she just gives you her food diary for an entire week, and I thought that was a little bit kind of boring and redundant and just kind of unnecessary, like filler. Like, meh, really? You could have summed up that point in one day of food diary logging. So again, I only gave this one 3 stars. For my 4-star reads, I have more of these. I have 4. Woo! I have both volumes 2 and 3 of the Death Note manga series. I gave both of these 4 stars. It's just a continuation. I read the first volume in December, and so I'm continuing on with it. They've been in a steady pace of giving all of them 4 so far. I'm really enjoying the arc and kind of getting to know these characters a little bit better and getting to see where it goes and to see what he does with this power of the Death Note. If in case you don't know anything about Death Note, there's a guy named Light in Japan, obviously, who gets the power to kill people by writing their name on a Death Note. He has this kind of like god of death who follows him around, so it kind of talks about godlike powers and when it's good to use them, when it's not good to use them, and is it good if you're killing people that should be, they're criminals, so you're like cleansing the population, or is it bad because you're still killing people? So it's a good take on that, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I also gave the graphic novel American Born Chinese 4 stars. It's 3 interconnected stories of that kind of talk about Chinese history and Chinese American history and what it means and what it feels like with struggling to identify who you are and accept who you are and where you come from. It's a really interesting kind of perspective. It's kind of all the different variations of that, and I think it's really good, and so anybody could read it, not just if you're a Chinese American, because I'm not Chinese American and I still found it easy to relate to and really good. My last 4-star read of the month was Room by Emma Donoghue, and it's about a little boy and his mom who live in a like 12 by 12 room, or 11 by 11, something like that. And yeah, that's all they know is growing up in this room. I don't want to really say a lot because I don't want to spoil it, because I feel like it's obvious, but at the same time it's not, and I feel like part of that is kind of figuring it out in the beginning of reading it. I loved the characters though. I thought it was really good, really interesting. The movie adaptation is also really good. I watched that. The entire thing is told from the perspective of a 5-year-old, which I thought was really, really, really cool, and not done in like a cheesy, kitschy way. It was done really intelligently and for a reason, and I thought it was really brilliant. Nice. So it was a 4-star read, just because some of it was a little bit hard to take in towards the end. I have 2 4.5-star reads. First one I'm going to mention is The Walled City by Ryan Graudin. I did a full review of this book already on this channel last week, so I'll link up to that one. I thought this was really good. It's a really good standalone YA. It's about 3 different characters trying to escape this walled city, and I just thought it was a really interesting concept, really interesting plot, and I love the setting. There's a cat named Chma, and if you want more info, check out my review. The last 2 I'm gonna mention, one is a 4.5-star and one is a 5-star, but they go together because they're part of a series, and that is Finnikin of the Rock and Froi of the Exiles by Melina Marchetta. So these are the first 2 books in the Lumatere Chronicles. I gave Finnikin of the Rock 4.5 stars, and I gave Froi of the Exiles 5 stars. But these 2 books it's the Lumatere Chronicles. I'm in the middle of the 3rd one right now, which is Quintana of Sharon. I wanted to finish it in time, but I didn't finish it in time. It's a high fantasy where Finnikin lives in the land of Lumatere. There's a curse that happens, and basically everybody who's inside the country can't leave. Everybody who's outside of it is stuck out and can't come back in. He's on the outside, and he is basically towards the end, he's trying to break the curse and save his country. And then Froi the Exiles is just a continuation of that. This is one of the best fantasy series I've read in a while. I really, really, really love it. The only reason this got 4.5 is because I didn't believe it could be that good, and I was like, there's room for it to grow. And then Froi the Exiles really just stepped it up a notch and really brought even more depth to this world. I mean, it's so good. There's so much world building, there's so much complexity and depth. The characters are all really well developed and beautiful and wonderful. It's got such great, beautiful, wondrous development and writing and story and characters and plot and setting, and I just love it so much. So everyone should read this too. Let me know. I'm thinking about to break this up a little bit in the future, possibly doing recent reads type thing instead of doing a wrap up at the end of the month with like 11 books or 8 books and only getting to spend a few minutes. I kind of want to do more of maybe like 3 or 4 books at a time and kind of get more time to talk about them. Let me know what you think about that, if you'd prefer to just have them all at the end of the month flat in there, or if you'd rather kind of have maybe 2 a month, like a beginning and then an end. I don't know. Let me know what you would prefer to watch, and then yeah, I'll try to make that happen. If you've read any of these, let me know your thoughts about them, and that is it for me today. I'll see you next time.